Now we are going to see some other functions. Okay. All right. So basically, a very important point is like most frequently you will be facing some scenarios where you want to display the data, like the comparison of your any specific fact value, let's say sales or profit over the time. Okay. For example, like the profit of current year versus profit of last year, you want to see the growth. Okay. So such kind of scenarios, basically, if you have, then you have to know about the time intelligence functions. Time intelligence functions are nothing but it's just a category, right? Category of functions. Those functions we use especially when we want to compare or when we want to travel over the time. Okay. In order to use time intelligence functions, we have to create first a calendar table. Okay. A calendar table is required. Why? Because we need the continuous dates for time intelligence functions. Let's say we have the sales of our 1st of Jan, 2nd Jan, 3rd Jan, 4th Jan, 5th Jan, right? Then 6th or 7th Jan was Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so there is no sale. It means there will not be any data for these two specific dates in our transactional table. So next data we will be having from 8th of Jan. Okay, so if we use this date, if we use the date column from our transactional table, then it won't work for time intelligence functions. Why? Because time intelligence functions requires the continuous dates, whether there's any transaction, there's any sale on that date or not, but we need the date. Any date should not be missing, should not be missed in that date column. So that's why we need a separate date table. That date table, you can give a name as like date key table, calendar table, or anything, whatever you want. So first, let's create a date table. How? Although we created one date table in last session also, here if you see a calendar table, right? So this is the calendar table, the same we are going to use, but in this one we will modify some changes. So this table we created here, and this table is having the data first from 1st Jan 2012 to 31st December 2015. This is just a hard-coded values, hard-coded date, but what if when you will have the data for 2016? Your table will not be having the data for 2016. Okay, so that's why this approach is not good. Instead of passing the hard-coded values here, we have to create a dynamic date table. How? Let's use this. The calendar function requires a start date and start date and end date. Start date should be the minimum date from my transactional date column. So here we use min function and the minimum start date of the from the orders table. So that is order date. It means when the first transaction was done in that transactional table, and the end date should be max. Means for today it will be the max date would be today. Tomorrow max date will be changed to tomorrow's date. Okay. If there is not any date in that transactional table, then it will get the subsequent next date automatically for this table. So max date from the order date. Now close bracket and press enter. Right. So now this is the dynamic dates. So now you have the, let's say in real scenario, let's say your transactional table is having the data till 18th of May. When, like let's say tomorrow, your transactional table will be having the data for 19th May also. In this table also, in this calendar table also, another row for the 19th May will be created automatically, right? So like this, it will be always getting the new dates here. Okay, and this will be your date dimension table. Now using this date column, you extracted some other information here like year, month, and this combination of year and month. Okay, somebody was asking about the quarter and month, quarter and year combination. So for that, first you have to extract the quarter column here. How? Create a new column here. Quarter. And here I'm going to extract the quarter, so I can write quarter and here pass the date. So the date column is this. Close bracket, press enter. Here you got the quarter number, right? Now what you can do, here you can do a concatenation of year and quarter, right? So for that you have to create another column. year hyphen quarter. So here you can use year and your quarter. That's it. Okay. So in the same way, you can create, for example, if you want to see the data like year FY 2012, FY something like this, then you can concatenate FY with this year column. Okay, that's it. Okay, so here we got this table. Now after creating this table, we need to manage the relationship. It means my date key table should have the relationship with my transactional table, right? So it's already there. Okay, so you have to make sure if it's not, then you have to create the relationship first. Okay, so relationship is there. Now we are ready to use time intelligence functions. So what are the time intelligence functions basically? Like total YTD, total QTD, all right? So such kind of functions are the time intelligence functions, okay? If you want to calculate total YTD last year, or I can say LYTD, then that also you can do, but that's not a function. For that you have to use some other function, okay? But generally, I explain once again. So what is YTD? YTD is like the first day of the current year till today, right? So it means from 1st Jan 2022 till today. It means till 18th May 2020. And in the same way for quarter, first day of the current quarter till today, and for MTD, first day of the current month till today. Okay. All right. So now use the time intelligence functions. For using the time intelligence functions, we should have the total sales or total profit column first, right? So we have the total sales column already here, right? Let me just show you that total sales. Yes, so we have this total sales here. Okay, total sales 2. This is the measure. Okay, so now I'm going to reuse this measure in YTD sales. So that I have already created yesterday. So let me just show you once again. So how does it work? You have to use the total YTD function. Okay, in this total YTD function, you have to provide an expression. This expression could be a measure, or you can write the complete expression here. So instead of directly passing the sales measure here, you can write the calculation here again. How? Like you can write the sum X, orders table, unit price into quantity, right? This was the expression. Now next you can pass a date filter. In this date filter, you have the pass a date column, right? So the date column is my date column from the date key, from the date dimension table. Close the bracket and press enter. Here you got the YTD sales, right? Although this is not the correct data. Why? Because I'm not having the latest data set in this file. I have the data till 2015, right? So it is considering the YTD for 2015. Okay, but in real scenarios, when you will be working on your business data, you will be having the latest data. Okay, for me that's not possible, so that's why I'm using this data where we have the data till 2015 only. Okay, but this is the way like the functionality works like this. Now this is your total sales, but instead of writing this expression and again, what you can do, you can reuse your measures. Okay, so that's why we create the measures, so that we can reuse in other calculations, in other expressions. So instead of writing that complete measure, that complete expression, I can pass the total sales to, this is my measure, I can pass this one here. That's it. Now in same way, you can create total YTD, total MTD, total QTD as well. New measure, let's say QTD sales. Here use the total QTD function, and this provide the same thing, your sales measure, the value which you want to evaluate for any specific quarter, for the quarter wise, for year wise, or for month wise. Okay, then here you define the date key table. Same way, you can just replace this total QTD by the total MTD function. That's it. So this is your QTD sales. This is for the current year. If you want to calculate YTD sale for the last year, for the previous year, then for that you have to use this another function, that is same period last year. Okay, so it means you have this YTD sales. Okay, so the date range already is there. This function, this calculation already exists, already contains the date range. Okay, so now what you want, this calculation 20.99, this calculation you just want to evaluate for 1 year before, for 1 year back. Okay. So to do this time travel for 1 year back, we have to use the same period last year. It means the period is same, but for the last year. So let's evaluate this function, this YTD sales. For that, create another measure. Measure you can create in any table, okay? So here, this is my last year sales, or I can write last year YTD. Here, what we have to do, we want to evaluate which value, which measure. We want to evaluate this one based on the filter, and the filter is this time same period last year. So same period last year function is a kind of filter which takes you to the 1 year before, 1 year back. Okay. So here I'm going to use calculate function because calculate helps us to evaluate any expression in context of the specified filter. Okay. So here my expression is total YTD, or this YTD sales. This value I want to evaluate based on this same period last year. So here you use the same period last year and define the date. Close the brackets and press enter. Now here I add last year YTD. So here you can see last year, it means for the same period, but last year the sales was 16.74 million, and for this year sale is 20.99 million. Now you can represent this information. You can do a comparison over the time. Let's say here, if I use a basic area chart and I add YTD sales, last year sales, and I want to do this comparison, let's say for country wise. I want to expand, just increase the category width. It's too much complicated because we have a lot of countries here. All right, now you can see the data. You can do the comparison like this. That's clear. This is your last year, right? And this is your current year. Or instead of country, you can replace it by category also, by any other, whatever you want. Okay, so here you can see the value last year sales for this technology category was 6285, but for this year it's 7797, right? Got it? So in this way you can do this comparison. All right, so this was the example of min, because we use the min and max function to create a calendar table, right? And we used this same period last year function. Is it clear? So in this example we covered these functions. Created a calendar table using max and min function to make a dynamic calendar table. Then we use time intelligence functions for last year sales. For the last year YTD, we can use the same period last year function. It's clear? All right. Now we are going to see the very important one, selected value filter. Selected value is very interesting. Let's say you have this measure here, right? Let me just create this page. Okay, already I have created. Here I create one slicer. In this slicer, I add countries. I'm just customizing it. Okay, so quickly I just created this one country slicer. Okay, in this country slicer, now what I want, I will select the country here, right? Like I selected this country here, and based on the selected country, it's filtering the data for the current sales, current year sales, or the last year sales. Correct? What you want here, you want to show the total sales for the country. So you add this card visual. In this card, you are showing the sales. This is your total sales. You are selecting country, value is filtering, correct? Now what you want to show the country name. Whatever the country you select, that selected country you want to display here, okay? Or somewhere here. So how you can do that? For that, first you have to capture the value of the selected country, okay? We will capture the value of the selected country, and then we will display that as a text here. So let's do that. Create a measure. Selected country, and here I use the selected value function. In this selected value function, I will pass the column which you want to capture from the filter. So I want to capture the country column. So here you pass the country. Close the bracket, press enter. Now Now you have one measure, selected country. The output of that measure you want to display here. So you just add this card. And in this card, you can add the selected country measure here like this. So right now you see, I haven't selected any country. It is showing blank. When I select Argentina here, so you see Argentina is displayed. So now you can have a look that the value you selected, it is showing, it filtered the data for that, and that filtered value also you can see here, right? So this is sometimes very useful when you want to display the data for the selected customer, selected product, selected country, right? So in this way, you can display the data here, and you can concatenate the data also here, okay? So in this way, you can display the output of the filters value which you selected. Got it? When you don't select any value, then it is showing blank. You can customize this also. If no value is selected, then here you can pass another condition as an alternate result, that please select one country. Close the bracket. Now you see, please select one country. When you select that, it will show the details. When you don't select any country, it will give you that, please select one country. Got that? So in the very first example, I explained you about total orders for Canada, right? Total orders for Canada. So in this expression, in this measure, what I did, I just created a dynamic measure, a static measure, right? Means here I fixed this value where country is Canada. Someone was asking that, can't we make it more dynamic, like the value we select, based on that it will be changed? Yes. Instead of fixing the Canada here, what we can do, we can use the selected value. So now whatever the value we will select in the country slicer, that will be filtered. Got it? So this is the way like how you can make it dynamic. Right now, no value is selected for the country. In this country, you see no value selected, so it is showing blank. If you select any value, then it will show the total orders for that specific country. Just rename this because it is still showing total sales orders for Canada. Now total orders for selected country, you can see here. If you select multiple, then it will not show anything. Why? Because we haven't handled this case. Why? Because it will show the data for one country only. It means if you are passing it here, only one country, then it is giving you the result of one country only. In case if you want to handle it for multiple values, then here what you have to do, you have to use AND function. So what it will does, it will just again and again make a concatenation, and based on that, it will pass the value here into this country. Okay, so don't go on that. Let's make it simple first. If you select, okay, I see one question. If you select multiple countries on this page, you see, if you select the multiple countries, so it will not show. It will treat it as like it is a blank. You haven't selected anything. So what you can do, either you can restrict your user to select only one value. In case if you want to allow like multiple values selected, then here you have to do a concatenation. Okay, you have to do the concatenation. It means then you can customize it like this: Algeria, Argentina, Algeria, comma Argentina, comma Australia. Okay, so that is also possible. For that, you have to concatenate the values. All right. This was a related selected value function. Now let's move to the next one. That is related, right? So if you see here, there is one table, people, right? In this people table, if you see that we have the region and person. In this people table, we have the region's value. Region is having the unique records, right? For Caribbean region, this is the responsible person, right? Let me just change the name just to make it more clear. Responsible person, right? So for each region, we have the responsible person. For Oceania region, this is the responsible person. For North Africa, this is the responsible person. All right. In our orders table, we have a region column, right? Now what I want to pull the responsible person name in this table, right? So kind of like based on this region column, I want to look in the people table, and I want to pull responsible person column here, right? So how you can do that? It's similar, something like the VLOOKUP. Okay, so what you have to do here, you have to use the related function. Related function works only when you have the relationship between these two tables, right? So we have the relationship between these two tables here like this. Now let's create a new column here in the orders table. This is, for example, person. Now I use related function here, and I pass the column which I want to extract from the another table. So I want to extract the responsible person column. Select that, press enter. Here you see it has been extracted from the table. So if you see that region value was Europe, Western Europe. So for the Western Europe, you see Gilbert Wolf. This data has been extracted. So just to validate it, let's go to the people table, and here if I select Western Europe and see the data, Gilbert Wolf is there, right? So same has been pulled into the orders table. So this is the related table. This is the related function which you can extract one value of another from the another table. Okay. Now in case if you want to perform any aggregation, if you want to calculate any value along with the checking the data from another table, right? So for example, in this region, in this people table, I want to count total orders for each region. Okay, I want to show the total orders for each region here in this table. Okay, so how I can count the total orders in this order table and how we can pull it here. For that, we can use another function, that is related table. So function name is related table. The one we right now created, that was the related function. Now we are going to see related table function. So create a new column in this table. And this is, let's say, total orders. Here I'm going to use calculate value. Which value I want to calculate? I want to calculate, let's say, count of orders, right? So I select count of order ID because order ID is the primary column for that. Then here I will define a value for the filter. So related table works as a filter because based on this region, because relationship exists. So based on that relationship, it will filter out the data for each record in my orders table. So here I provide the related table and which table I want to filter, orders table. Close brackets, press enter. Here you got the data for Caribbean region. We have the 1690 order lines. Okay, these are the lines because I used count, not distinct count. Okay, so it is giving you the total order lines. So for Caribbean region 1690, let's check it. Go to the orders table, select the region here for Caribbean region. These are the values, and here you can see the filtered values are 1690, right? You can select order ID column for better tracking. Here you can see 1690 are the total lines. If you want to see the distinct lines, it means the total orders, then you can use the distinct. So for that, total values would be 856. Let's change it. Instead of count, I can use distinct count. Press enter. You can see for Caribbean, it's showing 856, correct? Here also you see for Caribbean filter is already applied and total distinct order IDs are 856 filtered distinct values here. Got it? So these are the related and related table functions which are like most commonly used. And these works only when you have the relationship between your tables. If you don't have relationship, then you won't get the data. Okay, so these were related and related table function. All right. Okay, now we are going to check another one that is also very important, all function and all except function. So what is all and all except? These functions are basically kind of a filtered function which helps you to filter the data based on the provided value in the all or except all. All right. So these all function basically returns all the rows in from a table based on the defined parameter value in these functions. Okay. So let's say if you want something like, if you are filtering the data in, you are applying any filter on the country column, then the complete value on the visual, all the values on this visual will be filtered. See, if I select any country here, then data is changing in all the visual. But if you want something like, I want to see the total sales, although if I select this country, it got filtered for this country, but I want that the total sales regardless for the selected country I want to see. So for that, you have to use the all function. So let's create another function, another measure. All sales amount, right? X means filter will not work for it. Here you use all function In this, you just pass the column. So when you select this one, it means whenever you will select the value in this country column, the data of this measure will not be filtered, will not be changed. I think we have already seen this, so I'm just trying to get another example. All right, so here we are using, let's see, last time I created this for the profit, right? So now I'm going to show you on the sales measure. So not country here, we have to pass another column, right? So here, for example, I have currently this all function basically works only for the column, not for measure, okay? So here we have to pass a column. So let me check whether I have any sales column. No. Instead of this, let me just calculate it for the quantity, because quantity is the physical column of this table. I can create a sales column also, and then I can filter the data for it. So I'm using the quantity here now. Now when I show one more card here, and this one I'm going to add the column, quantity column, and creating one more. In this one I'm going to show the all quantity. See, sometimes actually what happens when you create a column, any measure, okay, so that the value of that measure sometimes cannot be calculated, right? So that's why it's happening here. Let me just change it. It seems like my Power BI desktop not responding. Yes, now it got worked. Okay, so here I want to filter the data for this all. I need to define that. Let me just calculate it once again, deleting it and trying to create once again. All quantity. All right. Okay, so instead of quantity, let me just do one thing. Use all, and here provide a column name. So column name I'm going to provide, let's say, column is created. Let me just try to visualize it here. Okay, so it seems creating some issue for me. Generally, we don't use any practical scenario. Actually, I'm not getting right now. All function we never use like along with, like generally we prefer to use along with like sum x or any other aggregated values. So I'm just trying to show one scenario. Let me just do one more try. No, but it won't work now. It won't show any information. Okay. So let's see it along with the any other function. Actually, I was just thinking to show you with like any specific value, any specific only one column. Okay, so now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another all function. In that all function, I will just check the data for the complete table. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to first calculate the sum. I'm going to create a sum column, right? So in this table, when you want to calculate any kind of like value, okay, so in that value, for example, you are just okay, so here I'm going to calculate the total of the quantity, right? So let me just create another measure here quickly. All right, so measure was already there, total quantity. Let me modify the same. All right, so we want to calculate the quantity, right? So first we need to evaluate it based on the filter, right? So I'm going to use a calculate, and let's say I want to evaluate by which column, quantity column. So you can provide a quantity measure. I don't have measure for quantity. Let's say for sales, total sales I have. Then here I have to pass all, okay, and on which table I want want to pass this on the orders table. It means whenever any value will be selected, in the orders table, this total sales, all sales data will not be filtered. So on the above measure, you see that total sales is appearing here, right? 16.82 million. If I add the all sales, right now I haven't selected any country. Value is same in both the measures, both 61.82, 61.82. When I select any other country here, so you see that value has been filtered, but for this, it didn't filter, right? So this is now what is happening actually. This calculate, yes, always helps us to evaluate the expression. So which expression we are evaluating here? This total sales. Okay, this is a measure. Regardless to the any filter which we apply into the orders table, right? So right now I just mentioned the order, the complete table I mentioned here, but in case I have the two filters here. One is country and the second is, let's say, customer. Okay, second is customer. So when I'm selecting any value in any slicer, then my all sales value is not changing, right? But if I want something like, if I change the country, then this should not be changed. But when I change the customer, then this calculation should be filtered. Okay. So then what you can do for it, in that situation, you have to, instead of providing the orders table, the complete table, you have to pass the country only. Okay, only one column. Now, when I select country here, you see data is not changing still here. It means it is showing the data for all the countries. But when I select any value in customer, you see data has been filtered for this calculation, right? So in context of the customer slicer, this value is filtering. In context to the country, it's not filtering. Why? Because here I have defined that this orders table should not be filtered when I select anything in the country column. Okay. So this is the all functionality, and you can not only one column, you can enter like multiple columns here. This is like based on only one column here. Let's say if you want to allow it not to filter on the customer name also, then just mention the customer name here also. Okay, and based on like these two values, data will not be filtered. But if there is any other third filter except these two, then data will be filtered. Okay, let me just show you that. Customer name you have here, but in case of that, let's say I add the category. Okay, so when I select any value in customer, you see that all sales is not filtering. But when I select the country, the category, you see data got filtered. Okay, so this is the way like how you can use the all function. All right, that was the all. Now all except is just vice versa of this. What we were doing in all, we were defining that which column, based on which column data should not be filtered. But if you want something like except these columns, data should be filtered, then we can use the all except. It means, let me modify the same one. This is all, right? It means based on these two, right now data is not filtering. Okay, if I just change it to all except, now what will happen? It will return all the record. It means it will filter all the records except these two columns which I defined here, right? It will not filter those columns actually. All right, all except here, I have to define the table. Means in this table, which columns you don't want to allow. So country and customer name, right? Then close all the brackets. Now, if you look here, when I select, it means this will allow the selection only for these two columns. When I select any value in country and customer name, then the data will be filtered, right? When I select customer, data is filtering. But except these two, if I select any other filter value, then data will not be changed, right? So the data is not changing. So this is like all except these two, data will not be filtered. If you will select anything in these two columns in filter, then only the data will be changed. Otherwise, all except these two columns, the data will not be changed in your calculation. All right, guys. So it's just a vice versa of the all functionality. All will restrict you, all except will allow you for the defined columns. Is it clear? All right, now we are going to see var function. What is var? Var is basically a variable, right? We all knows that what are the variables. In our schooling time, we learned about the variables, like let's say a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3. Then in C, what we do, we just do the a plus b, right? We all remember this basic mathematics, right? And during our schooling time, we learned about it. So now what will be the output of C? 5. Got it? So this is what a, b, and c are what here? Variables. So in the same way, we can do it into the DAX. It means in DAX, we can calculate something. Okay, we can calculate something and we can put that out. We can put the output of that calculation in one variable. In the same way, we can calculate another expression and we can put it into the another variable, and then we can reuse. We can perform further calculations on the variables, right? So let's see it how we can do it. In this table, I have one column which is, okay, I have the sales column. It seems I also have the discount column. Okay, so I want to calculate the net sales here. Fine. All right, so I'm not going to create multiple measures for it. So I will just get it through a one measure. Okay, it means like all the calculation I will do in one measure only. So let's create a measure. This is my net sales, right? How? First, what you have to do, you have to create a variable. Using this var space, you will create a measure. You will create a variable, sorry, right? So the variable name is, let's say, gross sales. This is your variable name. Got it? How you will calculate the gross sales is equal to, using the sumx function, although we have already calculated, but in case if you want to do that, you can calculate it like this. Unit price into quantity. Got it? This is what the output of this calculation would be stored in this variable. Variable name is gross sales. Now you can create another variable. Okay. So to create another variable, just define this variable again, var, and here define the another variable. This is like I want to calculate the total discount. Okay. In total discount, I want to do the sum of discount value. All right. So the total discount now has been stored in this variable. Okay. Now what I can do, I can do the subtraction of this gross sales minus discount, and I will get the net sales. So here I will have to create another variable. Okay, like this var. So it means in line you can create multiple measures, multiple values, multiple expressions, right? But this is not the right way to write your expression. Okay, so let's optimize it, follow the proper naming convention and the indentation practice. In order to do that, first expand the size of this formula bar, and now here you have to format your DAX expression. Just move it to the next line with Alt plus Enter, right? Then you can press Tab. This is for indentation. Move this line also to the next, move it to the next line, right? So now this expression is in more readable format. Okay, this is in more readable format now. Move to the next line. Here create another variable. This is your net sales. And here what I do, subtract your gross sales. This is XY, basically represents that this is a variable. Gross sales minus discount. Okay, so now the output of this expression has been stored in this net sales. Now you want to return the value of this net sales. For that, you have to use return. Here, which expression, which variable output you want to return? Net sales variable. So just pass it net sales. So the net sales variable value will be returned to this net sales measure. Okay, now press enter, and here you got your net sales measure. So this is a way, like instead of creating multiple measures, otherwise what we have to do, like we have to create one measure for this, the second measure for this, and then the third measure for calculating this value. So within one variable, using the variables in one measure, you can do your multiple lines of calculation. The complex calculation you can easily achieve. So basically you just break your calculation, store the data, store the output of the calculations temporarily in the variables, and then reuse those variable values for your further calculation. This is a concept of variables. Okay, is this clear? But I have another question. Okay, what's that? Can these variables be used in other measure? Yes. These variables are having the scope within this measure only. Okay, You can't use these variables outside this net sales measure. You can't do that. But the output of this net sales measure you can reuse. Okay. The scope of these variables are valid for this variable, for this measure only. Okay. All right. So now seems that we have done with all these calculations here. Okay, summarize is there one. Okay, only summarize is left. Now let's see that how we can do this summarize calculation. Okay, summarize also. So summarize function basically we use for summarizing the data. It means for grouping the data. Let's say you have one table here, orders table. In this orders table, you have the data like customer, orders, products, and quantity and sales like this. Okay, what I want to create a aggregated table. Okay, a summarized table. In that table, I want data of 3 years or the 4 years for each customer, their sales and quantity. Okay, summarization, the aggregation of the sales and the quantity. So how I can achieve it? So for that, I need to create a separate table. So just click on this new table. And this is my, let's say, customer and customer sales by year, right? So the aggregated data you want to see in this table. So you have to use summarize function for it. Summarize, you have to define the table name, which table you want to summarize, which table you want to do group. So I want to group by orders table based on which columns. So based on, so here you have to define the group by column. So first I want to define year, right? Year wise, and then customer name wise. So these are the two columns based on which you want to group by the data of the orders table. Then you want to add a name for your aggregated value, let's say total quantity. And then you have to define the column. Which column is that? Sum of the quantity. Got it? Close all the brackets, press enter. So here you see that output of this aggregated data here in this table, customer sales by year. So you see that aggregate data has been created in this separate table. And this table, let's say if I filter the data for any specific customer, now you can see for this customer, total quantity was like in 2012, 38, 13, 79, 14 this, 15 this, like this. Okay. So this is an aggregated table. This is, here you got only one column. If you want to aggregate the data of other columns also, other values also, then you can do that also. Let's say you want to see the aggregated total profit also. Then add the profit column here. Which column you want? Profit. Let me just, by mistake, I pressed enter once again. Yeah. So add the column name first. You want to see the total profit. So write total profit. And here you have to define the expression sum of the profit column. The brackets, press enter. Now here you can see your profit column. If I select any specific customer, here you can see the data. Profit is showing the data up to 4 decimal places. You can change it, select it, and here you can mention 2. Is it clear? So this is the summarize function. Summarize basically allows you to summarize the data or group by the data based on the defined column. So you are grouping the data here based on year and based on customer number.